Hey up everybody. Before we get started today, I've just got to say an absolute massive thank you to each and every one of you for watching the content on this tiny little channel. Right now, I've got an amazing 96 subscribers, which is absolutely unbelievable. That's a massive amount of people that are investing their time in watching this tiny little channel. Thank you so much. I am really thankful to each and every one of you. And it's because of this that I'm having a little shuffle around on how I release content. So far, I've been documenting a park run or a race or a bit of training and releasing that on a weekend. And then in the middle of the week, I've been releasing a short that's maybe 30 or 60 seconds of a little tip or a trick that I've learned along the way that some people might find useful. And it's this midweek one that I'm gonna upgrade basically. Instead of it being a short, it's going to be something more value, more bang for your bucks, and hopefully more interesting if I can. And I'm going to start off this week by giving you the most important cornerstone to my training, which has transformed the times that I've been running since I learnt this little thing. And I'm going to share that with you. And what I'm going to do to help explain it, I'm going to put a bunch of numbers on the side. And that's basically my 5K time, so my power of 10. So as you can see there, 2017 I started running. I put an awful lot of work into getting as fast as I can, because I really was focused on beating the 30-minute barrier, and I got it done. And then 2018, after a lot of hard work, I got that down to 23 minutes. And from there on, it kind of plateaued. So 2019, 2020, 2021 and 2022, there wasn't that much improvement. It really leveled off. And that's basically because my approach to training was completely wrong. And in 2022, that's when the light bulb moment happened, because 2022 was the year that I got qualified as a UK athletics running coach. And what they taught me on that course, I'm going to share with you now, because that transformed everything. Because if you look at the numbers there, 2023, my 5K time had dropped dramatically to 19:45, smashing that 20-minute barrier, the barrier that I never thought I'd ever be able to do. 2024, we're at the lower end of 19 minutes. And then this year, 2025, in August, at a 5K race, I managed to get 18 minutes and 19 seconds. And I did that at 54 years old. So in a nutshell, the thing that I've learned is it's not the training that actually makes you faster or stronger or fitter. It's the magic that happens afterwards. Okay, let's see if I can do this half as good as the examiner showed me when I did my coaching exams. So this is called the overload and overcompensate graph, and it explains what your body does when you're exercising and how it improves. So we've got this axis here on the graph. This is your fitness, and the one across the bottom, that's just time. So let's put a line across here. That's just your baseline fitness. That's your fitness where it is now. So this is your starting point. So when you do a session or an exercise, let's call it an exercise. When you do an exercise, your body actually loses fitness. You're getting tired as you're exercising. You're actually damaging your body, so that the more and more you train, the less fit you get, because you've overloaded your body. What happens then when you finish your session is your body will recover, but your body wants to recover to be in a better place than where it started out at, so that if ever it encounters that workload again, it's in a better place to do that. And that's called overcompensation. So overload is the exercise, overcompensation is the recovery, where you come back stronger. Easy as that. So now let me explain where I was going wrong. Let's put this graph back on. So we've got fitness on this side and time across the bottom, and there's my baseline fitness. So I'd go out and I'd do an exercise and I'd work really, really hard and I'd put all the work in because I really want to get better, and then the exercise would stop and then my body would start to recover itself, and then as it was recovering it'd come to the next day, and what I'd do is I'd go out the next day and do another training session, and then I'd finish that training session, and then because I'm so keen and eager to be better, as my body's recovering, the very next day I'd go out and I'd work really hard, and as you can see, I wasn't making any improvements. All I was doing was basically overtraining. I wasn't allowing my body to recover, and I wasn't allowing the overcompensation. So between, I'll just put those numbers back on the chart, all those years that I spent working really hard and trying my best to improve from 2019 until I did my coaching exams in 2022, all that work had no results. Right, so let me show you the next piece of this puzzle. And this is one that certainly quite a lot I'll identify with. Let's put this graph back. That's your fitness, that's your time, and that's your baseline. So this one is the reason why so many people end up getting injured, and so many sports physios will say that the most common reason for people to be injured is down to overtraining. Let me show you how that works. So we've got a start point where we're very, very keen and we work very hard, and we believe that working hard is the way to improve fitness, and there's your session. And then as body starts to recover, but before it recovered, we go out and we train again. We put another session in. So what's happened is if you look there, we've actually started training well before his body's recovered, and we've damaged it even more with another session. And then his body starts to recover, and then before it's recovered, we go out and do another session and damage it even more. And then eventually the fitness level drops that much, you get injured. It's as easy and simple as that. That's overtraining. And this one is the big consistency word that you'll hear so many people saying. And this is what happens and why it's so important. So let's just say we've got his fitness there, we've got his time there, we've got his baseline fitness. So we'll go out and we'll do an exercise and we damage his body because that's what exercising is. And then the exercise finishes, and then his body recovers and it wants to overcompensate, and we've done the perfect overload and overcompensation. That's what we're aiming for. But we've got another scheduled session to do at the right amount of time after you've recovered and you've overcompensated, and you come home from work and it's dark and it's rainy and you're hungry and you think, oh, I'll not bother, I'm going to skip this session. And that session might turn into 2 days of miserable weather because it's windy and raining outside. And all that hard work that you've done and all the recovery and all the overcompensation, this marginal, this tiny, tiny little improvement, I'll go back to baseline. And then you'll go out, because you've missed sessions, you'll start from the beginning again. And then you might even do the perfect training session. You do the perfect overload, you do the perfect overcompensate. And because you're not being consistent, this tiny little improvement fizzles away to nothing, and then you go out and try and train, and that's a cycle that repeats. So consistency is so important because it's adding on the tiny little gains you make on each and every session. Each and every run you do might only improve you by the smallest of margins that's not even noticeable. But if you do that for days, for weeks, for months, that does make a difference. And it's not missing sessions that is so vital and so crucial to your improvement. So there we are. That's the basics of how training works. Obviously, there's a little bit more to it than that, but if you understand the principle that it's not the exercise that makes you fitter or stronger or faster, it's the recovery time afterwards when your body rebuilds itself stronger that actually make the improvements. As long as you understand that part, then you will be able to progress, you will be able to improve. But I'm going to wrap this one off now. The next one I do, we'll look into things a bit more detail. We'll look at different intensities and what the exercise and the different intensities do and how we can incorporate them and get useful training so that we are allowing for these adaptations to happen and still get the hard work done, which we all like doing. That's the fun part of it, is running fast, but trying to get the balance right so that you can get all the fun and enjoyment of running, but still allow your body the time to recover and improve. So until next time, I'll see thee.